Sweden officially had multiple instances with some people are essentially burning the Quran.
Yeah, it's not like that.
And not lighter?
I
No,
know.
no. Oh, okay.
It's being
And
lighted.
and
on
they
fire.
and the group of people that are participating in that activity are essentially chanting Islam out of Europe, and the argument is not comparable with Western values. That has been an argument that's been going on for many years now, and it's according to their argument is unable to coexist with other religions. And there are certain countries in Europe that are taking a position. For example, Poland accepts migration into the country from Christians. Like they don't want anybody that is not a Christian. They don't want cultural and religious principles and values to be confronted or exchanged or eventually. I mean, if you look at some of the stuff that's going on in a lot of European countries right now. You can see that there really is a reshape. Now a lot of people are freaking out with this thing. You know what I mean? This is only gonna lead us into a significant problem.
So they should just send them all to America and drop them off at the universities because they're welcome.
They're welcome at the university?
A lot of them are welcomed at the universities here. So if they don't like you in Sweden, they'll like you in New York. You know, so that's how I feel about the whole situation.
Isn't that, I mean, people went looking for the New World specifically because they were looking, like, so did we go back to, like, are we going back to that whole process?
They were going to looking for New World, looking for what?
For,
I don't know. What the
obviously
question
no taxes and freedom of religion. I mean, it's written in our constitution. I'm not talking about Sweden right now. I'm talking about like America. Like we were founded on those values of like freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of, because that was not available on that side of the world. Then it kind of felt like everybody kind of followed suit, and it was welcomed more places than other, but it was kind of more universal. And then does it kind of feel like that's happening again, where there's certain areas where they're saying, nope, there is zero freedom of religion? Is that what this is kind of heading towards? Is that the way that you're seeing it?
So what is actually happening is though you already have the level of intolerance that has been expressed by both of the religions. You know what I mean? The Islamic faith and Christianity right now are going to again be colliding at some point. And this time the fighting ground is not going to be Jerusalem. You know what I mean? The fighting ground is essentially Europe. You know what I mean? And that was in multiple occasions Islam attempted to conquer Europe. And I'm not just talking about from a political perspective. I'm not just talking about the man-made side of the empire, right? And I'm actually talking about the actual concept of religion that is, from an Islamic position, the ultimate goal is for the planet, for the world to be Muslim, right? And so there's a sense of mission, there's a sense of conquest. There's a sense of this is what we need to do. Now, there's multiple ways to defeat or to invade another country. You know what I mean? One of it is you go to war, you fight, you win. You know what I mean? You take over, and a lot of what Islam has managed to do has been through war, fighting, and then but also positioning, right? And so positioning means if we send enough people, and that was the fear of the migration. The fear of migration is, if you put enough people into a place, you can actually create a cultural imbalance or take it out of balance, whatever that balance was prior to the people arrive, right? And so now you see, for example, in England, you know what I mean, you see thousands of people doing Islamic prayers in the middle of the street, right? That's a statement. You know what I mean? That's like, hey, we're here, right? And then you have people, obviously just recently, and this is being moved around, about the amount of people that out of Canada saying we want Sharia law here. Yeah. And so the difference today with Christianity, even at the level of the Pope, right? We as Catholics, again, the ultimate level of authority has always been the Pope. But the clear understanding is give to God what belongs to God and give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, right? So
Yeah.
there is a constitution here that have to be respected.
Mhm.
That's not essentially what the ultimate goal of an Islamic, I don't want to call it just conquest, but essentially complete successful domination, let's say, right? Let's say that, I mean, right now we have about 20 million, 25 maybe, million Muslims in the United States. That's not even 10% of the population. But that 10% is very loud,
Mhm.
right? And again, 25 million people. It's a lot of people. Eventually, that's going to become
Yeah.
a
By way of
voice.
duplication.
A voice is going to get louder,
Birth,
right?
yeah. Mhm.
Birth rate also, you know what I mean? They're having more babies than anybody else.
Yep.
And they are almost laughing about the fact that they know that they are intentionally growing, at least, and I'm not, and please forgive me when I use that general blanket and saying they, right? Because that's not everybody, it's not every Muslim, it's not every position. There's a lot of people that all they want to do is have a good relationship with God, you know what I mean? And they, according to them, that's the best way to do that. So I want to be fair to the process, but there are a group of people who essentially operate as organizers, as people that they actually do have a plan, you know what I mean, which is to allow this to become the dominant faith, the dominant ruling faith. And so now you have countries that are saying, no, we don't, not only that we don't want that, like we are going to become hostile so that you don't have a reason. And if you want Sharia law, then go back to wherever Sharia law is being practiced. We are not going to welcome you here, right? Now, in the United States, guys, I can go register a brand new church, a brand new religion, properly organize it, you know what I mean, and come up with a few theological principles and make an argument as to why I have the right to be in that position. And in this country, that will be accepted, and it
Mhm.
will be acceptable.
Right.
Now, however, if I went to Saudi Arabia right now and I wanted to open even a Catholic church, now, I'm not talking about, you know, Marvin, who just came up with his
Yeah.
brand new idea,
Yeah.
which they have the
Mhm.
idea to say, who the hell are you? Like, what the hell? You're like, they have the right to say that. But when they not allowing any additional Christian churches to be built. So what happens is eventually there's going to be other countries, except for the fact that traditionally Christianity has been a lot more tolerant about the process. Eventually, it challenged that level of tolerance, and they're getting to the point where Christianity is being criticized for. I'm talking about Andrew Tate. I'm talking about even Patrick himself, Patrick David, and saying maybe we're a little too tolerant, right? To the extent that I will say that the number one reason and argument for Andrew Tate to become a Muslim was to say, you know what, I don't like the
They
idea
got
that-
low standards.
Yeah, you get pushed
Yeah.
around, you don't defend yourself. These guys are leaders, they're willing to fight, they're willing to kill somebody if they have to.
Yeah.
I respect that. That's not necessarily a reason. You become part of a belief system because you're looking for something beyond what's in front of you or just your current reality here right now. You're thinking about the ultimate reality, you know what I mean? But this is an issue where civilizations will be clashing. I don't know where it's going. I don't know what's going to happen. But I will tell you more and more there are rising, or there are voices that are rising to this conversation. Now, I will tell you, for example, to me right now it's amusing, and we're going to talk about the protests that are taking place, when I see so many people from, I don't even know which community to describe, because now just the rainbow flag, I don't even know what symbolizes anymore.
Right
It's
now,
stating-
everybody's
It's
Palestinian.
saying that there are pro-Hamas.
Yeah.
You know
Mhm.
what will happen?
Oh yeah, they
If-
throw
if-
you off of a building.
It's like they will burn
Yes.
you alive.
Yes.
They
Yes,
will
yes.
burn you alive.
Yes,
It's like
yes.
it's like
It's like chickens for KFC.
so essentially.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
How do you have a conversation here in a way that it's is balancing up, but at the same time it stands in a position. My position at this point has evolved to the point that I feel that I'm one of those guys that also have to say something about it. You know what I mean? And I think that this is a product, an end result of something that Europe itself right now is literally under a lot of fear. And you're going to see a lot of situations that are going to be extremely unpleasant. I don't know if any of these things eventually will lead to war among countries, because this is not a simple issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't like anything that just comes across as provocative for the sake of being provocative. This whole idea of burning what is a holy book for somebody,
Yeah, you can't do
it's
that.
not something that I welcome. You know,
Yeah.
listen, you want to have a healthy conversation about politicians, everybody comes to the agreement and say, okay, listen, guys, here's what it is, right? Here's how we protect and so and so.
Yeah.
We don't allow anybody to come in.
Yeah.
And we, the same way that Saudi Arabia is saying, we're not opening Christian churches here. Guess what? You can't open a mosque in here. There's no. That's a different approach altogether. But this whole mass migration that took place in the last 8 years into Europe from Muslim countries, right now, you're going to start to see more and more how this is going to become a freaking issue.
Mm.
You know,
Which
so-
is so what you're saying essentially is this is the reason to have like borders and like a foreign
to be clear about your borders, to be clear about who you welcome home,
yeah
right? Who do you allow in to come into your environment, to have a very specific set of standards, to essentially have requirements, you know what I mean? Even for the people that are coming into the country right
You're
now.
right.
Yeah, you know, there should be a set of expectations that are given to people immediately to
So-
understand that. And I don't know, here's the funny thing, I think that other countries will be able to successfully make a correction about some of these things, but the number one country who is literally vulnerable to these situations is us.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like because this is happening right now in Sweden, but it was an action that created this reaction.
Correct.
How long ago was the border, the migration, all that stuff? How long ago did that happen?
8 to 10 years.
Okay, so
The
right now
at the higher
at the
numbers,
highest
you know,
level that
high
is happening.
numbers. Yeah,
Okay,
very, very high
so 8 to 10 years. So is it safe to assume? Because everything that we talk about for me is I want to bring it back to how does that affect us here.
Mhm.
So is it safe to assume that 8 to 10 years from now, we're probably going to be dealing with situations like this?
Except for the fact that it might be the other way around.
That they're going to be
Where
burning
you're
the
going to
Bible?
see Bibles being burned. Where you're going to see more mosques than Christian churches being built. And where you're going to see that under the freedom of religion and this incredible amount of tolerance by Christians, what you're going to see is one side clearly, I mean, that's the whole argument of
Yeah,
Andrew.
yeah,
Andrew
yeah.
Tate, Andrew saying, the whole argument is like, not only that you created an environment where people can be very easily abused, you actually are okay allowing other people to abuse you. So who the hell is defending you? We're just having a conversation with somebody yesterday about, with Mario Aguilar. We're talking about the Crusades, you know what I mean? I'm like, listen, buddy, we could spend 3 hours on that, but there was a reason for that to happen. And some people are arguing we need something similar at this point because who is the real defender of Christianity? Who's going to pick up arms, literally saying, on the name of defending Christians? Listen, if we go through a process of how Christianity has been decimated, not through conversion, but through violence, you know what I mean? And then destroying churches. Listen, the patriarch of former Constantinople, right, which is based out of Turkey now, is essentially once he died, Erdogan, the president of Turkey, is literally saying you cannot name another patriarch. You have no idea what the significance of. There's something called the Pentateuchy, which is the Pentarchy, which is Catholic, the Church of the Orthodox Church, Alexandria, Jerusalem, and where today also happens to be the Church of Egypt, and so the Coptic Church, right? You're talking about something that essentially is saying it's not just the destruction of a church, but the actual destruction of one of the main branches of Christianity today. That's a big issue. So this is not a simple thing. This is something that everybody, we were talking about people paying attention. What I'm hoping for is that people today are going to realize that these are things that we have to pay attention. Because I'll be honest with you, unless everybody wakes up and saying, you know what, there's nothing wrong with, let's not drink anymore. Those are the benefit of becoming a Muslim. The whole idea of alcohol consumption and drugs, and maybe you do become a citizen that will be committing less crimes, or you can come out of crime. Or you're seeing some positive social economic outcomes that comes through as a benefit of people that became closer to Islam. But to the extent that some of the other changes that would be taking place, especially everything that works against a lot of groups out there, but especially in general, just against women. You know what I mean? I think that the argument for Islam as being the best place for female, like the whole argument about abortion, the whole argument about feminine movement, the whole argument about all of that shit goes out. All these transgender clowns that are going out there, and that all goes out the window. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, listen, I just wanted to mention it to you because I think it's extremely significant.